Hi, I'm Marcia Lehman, and I'm a Knox County Master Gardener. Today we are pruning a red currant, that is Ribes rubrum. There are also some pink and white currants, and they would get pruned similarly, but this specimen here in front of me is a relatively old plant, maybe about 8 years or so, so it makes a great specimen for us today. It tends to fruit on 2-year-old and 3-year-old wood, so we always want some new wood coming along, and we always want to be getting rid of some of the older wood because it's going to be way less productive than that 2-year and 3-year-old wood. And if you refer to the PDF handout that accompanies this video, you'll see that what we do is we start with the 4Ds, get rid of anything that's dead or damaged, and if it's touching the ground, you have a decision to make. You can actually let it touch the ground and it will root, and then you can sever it and you have a second plant. If you don't want to be making more of your own plants, then any of those that are touching the ground you want to remove. And in cleaning out the leaves around the base of the shrub, I found some of those, and the homeowner wants more plants. So I'm not taking all of those low ones off if in fact they've already made an attachment to the ground. We'll let them grow and get to the size that they can then be severed and transplanted. So generally, if you buy a new plant, this is where the handout is really helpful. The year after planting, the year of planting is year 0. The year after planting, year 1, you remove all but 6 to 8 of the canes, and I hope you have that many. In year 2, you remove 2 or 3 of those original 6 to 8, and now you've got 4 or 5 canes, and you should have some new shoots, and you'll keep 4 or 5 of those, at which point you now have somewhere between 8 and 10 canes. 4 or 5 slightly older, 4 or 5 new ones. In year 3, you do the same type of reduction. You keep the best 3 to 4 of the newest canes, and the best 3 to 4 1-year-old canes, and the best 3 to 4 2-year-old canes. This is why you want to refer to the handout. And year 4 and beyond, you take out 3 to 4 of the oldest canes at ground level, and you should have 9 to 12 canes total. So we've got more than that here. And so we're going to be focused on taking out the oldest canes. How do we know which are the oldest canes? Well, A, they tend to be the biggest, largest diameter, and tallest. Not always tallest. We have some tall, younger ones, but they do tend to be the tallest ones, and they definitely are the largest ones in diameter. So I'm going to put down the clipboard, and I highly encourage you to refer to it, especially if you have a newer plant and you're in this process of building up the canes that will be productive. So I'll get rid of that, and I'll come in, and this is going to be my first candidate. Now it comes off the back here, and when I take it off, there is not going to be a whole lot left here, but the reason I'm not taking it off further is I have a nice root coming back here with a new cane coming up. I will take this stub off here at the base. And then I'm looking for my next biggest cane, and I've got another one coming off the back here. And what you can't see is that the bark is starting to split on that. So that just confirms for me that that is older. We'll take that one out. So there's 2. Here's another bigger, older one. And all the while, I'm also looking at how many canes do I have left. I don't have to count. I know I still have more than 8 to 12 canes in here. So here's one that's rather woody looking in the center. There we go. And that snapped kind of like it was dead. And then I probably need to come around to the front a little bit, front or the side. And while this one is kind of long, it is not the oldest one in here. This one that is hanging down low to the ground and has rooted out here. But when I look, so I may leave that one just for a little bit longer, but I'm looking at here at the base where that comes off. That is definitely really, really old. So what I'm inclined to do is to come out here, since it's already attached itself to the ground. I'll leave this as a bit of a marker, but I'm going to sever it, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to take this off in a couple of pieces, because I really need to get around to the front. Oh, yeah, that just broke. So I'm surprised that wanted to grow. I'm going to have to come around to the front to get that. And then I really need to make a count. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm probably at about 15 stems at this point. Let me come around and see if I can clean up this one that I got. Oh, I've come around to this side. This is the one that I was pointing to from the other side, and just in handling it, it breaks. So that's really old. And it's going to take me a couple little snips here to get that out of there. And when they're down low like this, you make just the best cut that you can get. It may not be exactly what you want, but the last thing you want to do is then damage the branches that are nearby. So make the best cut that you can. This one comes off of here. I'm going to take that. And sometimes you end up turning your tool the way you normally don't use it, so that you don't cut or scar an adjacent branch. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 older stems here, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, another 8 smaller stems, and then I've got some that really are trying to root. So that doesn't count on this. That's going to become a new plant. So I could stop at this point. I'm a little heavy on the newer stems, but considering how much of the older stuff we took out, I probably want to keep some of that. The last thing I would do, now that we've taken a little bit of height out, is I like to come and stand over the plant and look down in, because we generally want things going out rather than coming in and across. And in the process of doing that, I see this, it's a newer stem, and since I have extras of those, I'm going to take that one off, because it just wants to come up and grow through the center. We really want to keep the center kind of open to get maximum sunshine into the plant, which it needs in order to flower and bear fruit. And in this particular location, there are some large trees around which cast a fair amount of shade. So we really want the center of this to be as open as possible. And as I just did there, sometimes you just need to untangle things and let them grow, and then they don't rub anymore. So you just move them around a little bit. But again, looking down, there's one that wants to rub, and I'll take that one off. No rubbing. So again, now that I'm looking down in here, we should get plenty of good airflow and sunshine into the center of the plant. It can blossom to its heart's delight and bear fruit, and then you're in a race to see whether you get it or the birds enjoy it. So that is the red currant, a cane growing shrub. So with every cane shrub you have some number, which is the number of stems you're looking for. It does like to root, so if you want more plants, don't go buy more plants, just let one of those low-hanging branches root, and then you can cut it loose and pot it up. And that's about it. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you have to count. And the hardest part is those first 4 years, where each year you're taking out a couple old canes, letting a couple new canes, and your goal is to end up with 8 to 12 canes total. So there we are, red currant. Hope you learned something today, and we thank you for joining us.